Hey everybody, it's Torio here. Thanks for tuning in to another weekly episode of Ever After Radio Show on digitally imported club sounds. I have a fresh new lineup of bangers and trancers. Please feel free to tweet me feedback during the show at DJ_Torio. I'm going to kick off this episode with a new track called Devotion on Ultra Music by Eric Murillo and Harry Romero featuring Shawnee Taylor.
It's a long way down, look where you're standing. Doesn't make you any better, keep believing. Don't wanna hear you out, can't understand it. And you keep flying overhead but never landing. They want a piece of you, they wanna keep you down and said you lose. They want a piece of you, it doesn't matter what you say or do, yeah. Keep your head up, don't let me down. You just gotta keep it up, rise up, make it count. You need to believe in some love. I'll pick you up if you ever need some love and devotion. Keep your head up, don't let me down. You just gotta keep it up, rise up, make it count. You need to believe in some love. I'll pick you up if you ever need some love and devotion. I can't worry, babe. Gotta keep on rocking. You better get away from hell, 'cause heaven's knocking. Gotta find your way back home, back to the real thing. 'Cause your life ain't nothing close to what you're living. They want a piece of you. They wanna keep you down and said you lose. They want a piece of you. It doesn't matter what you say or do, yeah. Keep your head up, don't let me down. You just gotta keep it up, rise up, make it count. You need to believe in some love. I'll pick you up if you ever need some love and devotion.
That track was called In My Arms by Hull and Rush, which releases this Monday, January 26th on Flamingo Recordings. Up next is Bring the House by Chaparral and Kenta, which also releases Monday on Peak Hour Music.
feel you taking a hold. You're the chemical I need at night, one that I've never known. Feels like heaven hits me every time I give you control. And it's systematic, you cause the static up in my attic, and I think I like the overload. 'Cause when it's systematic, lovers will last. It's automatic, and I think I like the overload. Don't let it go, don't let it go, don't let it go, never let it go. Don't let it go, don't let it go. Systematic overdose. Systematic overdose. Systematic overdose. You know you're driving me insane. You got me saying those. I wanna feel it all again until this moment explodes. You're the chemical I need at night, one that I've never known. Feels like heaven hits me every time I give you control. And it's systematic, you cause the static up in my attic, and I think I like the overload. 'Cause when it's systematic, lovers will last. It's automatic, and I think I like the overload. Don't let it go, 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 don't let it go. Systematic overdose. Systematic overdose. Don't let it go, don't let it go, don't let it go, never let it go. Don't let it go, don't let it go, don't let it go. Systematic overdose.
That track is called Systematic Overdose by Flat Disc featuring C. Todd Nielsen, which releases February 2nd on Big and Dirty Recordings. Up next is Takeoff by Kill Your TV, which releases Tuesday, January 27th on Peak Hour Music. song you just heard is called Wide Awake by Tom Starr and Still Young on Spinnin' Records. Up next is the Yorn Bold remix of Voices by Estiva and the Spaceys, which releases Monday, January 26th on Enhanced Recordings.
If I walk out on the open sea, will you break into my heart? Infuse my chemical energy so you can take it apart. I don't take orders from anyone, I'm always back at the start. If you can feel my pain, they say, maybe you know my name. Show me your love, tell me a story. I can't get enough of a life that's so boring. Put your hand on my heart, don't let the siren sound. I'm building it up, so you'll tear it all down. We might sing. We might sing. How do you see when you don't believe? Why can't I be where you are? I feel your rhythm rush into me when I'm reaching up for the stars. I need the touch of an angel to take the world if it's ours. If you can feel my pain, they say, maybe you know my name. Show me your love, tell me a story. I can't get enough of a life that's so boring. Put your hand on my heart, don't let the siren sound. I'm building it up, so you'll tear it all down.
Looking at the stars keeps me wide awake. Closer to the sun than I've ever been. Floating, I'm weightless is painless. How can we defy gravity? Pressure is fading, heartbeat is racing. Gonna pull you right up to me. We don't need gravity, 'cause we can walk on air tonight. There's no gravity. We're moving at the speed of light. We don't need gravity, 'cause we can walk on air tonight. There's no gravity. We're moving at the speed of light. I wanna walk on clouds. Feels like I'm 10,000 feet from the ground. We don't need gravity, 'cause we can walk on air tonight. What if we could reach somewhere we've never been? Cast our burdens all into the wind. Floating, I'm weightless. Touch me, it's painless. How can we defy gravity? Pressure is fading, heartbeat is racing. Gonna pull you right up to me. We don't need gravity, 'cause we can walk on air tonight. There's no gravity. We're moving at the speed of light. We don't need gravity, 'cause we can walk on air tonight. There's no gravity. We're moving at the speed of light. I wanna walk on clouds. Feels like I'm 10,000 feet from the ground. We don't need gravity, 'cause we can walk on air tonight.
That was Gravity by Nova Space featuring Drea Dela Cruz, which releases February 2nd on Peak Hour Music. Next on the lineup is Makoto by Genix, which releases January 26th on Always Alive Recordings. Lito remix of When Stars Align by Ad Brown and Frida Harnest, which releases February 9th on Black Hole Recordings. Up next is Mind Games by Pearson and Hurst, which releases January 26th on Digital Society Recordings.
There's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind. Driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
called Wait For You by Jocko featuring Alana Aldea, which releases January 26th on Enhanced Progressive. Up next is my track of the week. This one is called Hands by Somna and Jennifer Renee, which also releases this Monday, January 26th on APA Recordings. by Lee Osborne, which releases January 26th on Lange Recordings. That wraps it up for this week's episode. Be sure to check me out at www.facebook.com/DJ Torio Music and tweet me at DJ_Torio. Thank you for tuning in to Ever After Radio Show on digitally imported club sounds. Stay tuned for Wake Your Mind with Cosmic Gate, followed by Group Therapy with Above and Beyond. This is Torio, signing out.